Hello and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. In today's review I'm going to be talking about this, which is another one of Jamie Bate's wonderful TARDIS kits, and as you can see it's being modelled here by Big Chief's 8th Doctor figure by Paul McGann, so that means it is none other than the TV movie TARDIS, which as you can see looks very nice alongside the Big Chief figure. This is actually the third time that I have tried to record this video. Every time I've tried to record it, something's gone wrong, so, you know, third time's a charm. Let's hopefully get through it this time. I do apologise as well for my lockdown hair. I do realise it looks like I've got a bird nest on top of my head. It is going to get the chop very, very soon. You know, I'm at the point now where I could go like this and I could be Patrick Troughton. Yes, but we're not talking about Patrick Troughton today. Nope, we're talking about the 8th Doctor. And in particular, this TARDIS kit. So the history of this particular model is a long and arduous one. This is actually the second kit that I made. It was one that I made with my dad. The reason why I'm only doing a video on it now is because this one has gone through so many revisions over the last couple of years, however long ago it was built. It was probably built 2017, sort of end of 2017, something like that. Yes, it's had a lot of revisions to it, and that's the reason why I held off doing the video, because I was never really happy with it when me and my dad finished it, and then things changed later on. And I also didn't want to do a video on it until the 8th Doctor figure came out, because I wanted to do some nice pictures of both of them together. This is probably the tallest out of all the different TARDIS boxes from Jamie. It's also the heaviest. As ever, when you get your kit, you are going to need a few additional things. You will need, let me show them off, you're going to need some of this, some polyfiller. This is going to be exactly what you want to do the texturing. Some of this, super glue. I use Impact Instant Contact Adhesive, Evo Stick. Really good stuff. It's like £3 off of Amazon. You're going to need some of these teeny tiny hinges for the doors. These ones I bought off eBay. These are like doll's house hinges. These are great. But actually for this particular box, I used sort of like big silver ones. Just two, one at the top, one at the bottom. From B&Q. They were about £1.50 for the two. The other thing you're going to need are these wooden dowels, which will go into the corner posts, like so. And that's just to give it that nice curve. And these are 3mm diameter wooden dowels. And they're very easy to get. You can buy them on eBay. This one is actually a kebab stick from Asda. And there's like a pack of like 100 or something for a couple of quid. That's your best bet, but it is exactly the same size. I've only just realised this, so I will probably never have to buy any wooden dowels ever again. So again, one of the first things you need to do, or at least I always do, is a lot of research into what the prop looks like. There's not an awful lot of reference images for this TARDIS because it was only used in the one story, but there is enough there from behind the scenes, screen grabs from the film, pictures of the model TARDIS that was used in the title sequence and in all the time vortex sequences in that film, that you can get quite a good match for the actual prop. That's what basically influenced the way this looks. So for instance, the casing around the lamp, I painted it silver. Some people paint it like copper or brassy sort of gold, and that's not correct. And the reason why that isn't correct is because there was a bit of confusion when a really good fan-made model turned up online. It was so good, people thought it was the one used in the film. And that model had two telltale signs that it wasn't correct. One was the fact that the lamp was bronze, and the other, I think, I could be speaking out of turn here, but the other one, I think, was that it had a slightly shallow domed cap on top of the lamp housing, which the TV movie TARDIS does not have. And I've seen so many customizers and model makers build their TARDIS, movie TARDISes, and put that domed cap on it. And I wince every time because it just isn't there. No cap on top. It is flat. And the reason why we know that is because there's pictures of Philip Siegel with the model TARDIS, and there's no dome on top, and this is painted silver. And you'd think, you know, seeing as it was the production and they were making a scale-to-scale model of the actual prop, you'd think they knew what the colour was. So that's what I'm going with. This is also a very handy time for me to plug something really, really useful if you're going to be building TARDISes. There is this really awesome book, which is the TARDIS Chronicles, Volume 1 by Paul M.C. Smith. Wonderful books. And it is fantastic. It is an absolute Bible to people like myself who like everything to do with the TARDIS and the history of the prop, and not just the police boxes, but the console rooms as well. So I'll just give you a quick look. So it details everything from the changes to the individual panels on the consoles, to all the variations of hat stands used in the classic series, which is mental, but in a brilliant way. You know, all stuff about the different consoles. Look, that's the second console room. Also, the different police box props. And if we turn all the way to the back, because this takes us right up until the TV movie TARDIS. And if you notice, there is no dome on top, no cap. It's flat. As ever, when you get your kit, it's going to arrive in a big box like this. And this is not, sadly, one that I didn't make earlier. This is the Barry Newbury box again, which I still haven't made yet. So this is how it will come. Everything will be stuck together like so. As you can see, it's already very solid, and it's pretty much already there, ready to be glued. I mean, if you watch my review of the season 17 set that I did, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So again, this is the base, made up of many sheets of MDF that you all stick together. And then just to give you an idea of the front, these are the front doors. So this is the Newbury box again, remember. So slightly different construction to this one, but you know, it's the same basic idea. Everything is just put together exactly as it needs to go. You just need to super glue it together. The only thing I will say is, before you glue everything together, get a tape measure or ruler, mark everything out, make sure everything is where it needs to be, it's all centered and everything, because you know, you don't want to get it wrong and then have a mad panic and try and prise it all off. You'll notice that the panels on the walls around the windows and stuff, the squares, these are all beveled. Much like when I got the season 17 box, this did not come with any beveled edge kit like the Barry Newbury TARDIS from Jamie now does. I don't know if he does this for the TV movie box, so all those beveled edges were added by myself, made out of cardboard. Same system as when I made the season 17 box up there, just measuring out the squares and then cutting out the strips of card, gluing them in the edges, and there we go, that did the trick. And I'm really happy with it. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. But that wasn't originally on this box when I made it with my dad. No, we just made it exactly as it was in the kit. The other thing that you're also going to need, I should have added this as well, is you're going to need some wire to make the door handles, and you're also going to need some milliput, not only to make the door handle thicker and stronger, but also to sculpt the Yale lock, or at least that's what I did. You can use other means. And also for the lamp on top, you're going to either want to make something yourself or do what I did and get something 3D printed, which is expensive, but it's probably the best way of doing it. So once we glued it all together, which again is such a simple thing to do, it's so easy to construct these things. I'm hopeless when it comes to kits and anything like that. So to have something like this, which is so easy to do, as you can see, like along the edges here, they've got these little notches, and they just click in and you can just glue it into place. Easy peasy, so simple. The next thing was to try and capture the chipped paint texture of the actual movie prop. Something which I did not achieve in the first place. I don't think I've really achieved it now, but I'm much happier with how it looks now. When I first did it, I was like a lunatic with polyfiller, and was just like, lumpy, lumpy, lumpy. And in doing that, I ended up filling in all of these gaps here on the pillars, and it was just a bit OTT. We then primed it, Dad painted it with a primer, and then it came to choosing the colour blue. This was tricky because the decals that come with the box, the original sign box was quite a dark blue, sort of dark blue heading into purple. And it was very much inspired by the colour of the publicity images where you see the TARDIS with Paul McGann stood outside, and there's that one very famous shot of it on its own, and it looks very, very dark. And that's what we went for, because that panel is the same colour as the rest of the police box. Some people, when I've seen them make custom movie TARDISes, they do that foam panel black with the text on it, which is not right, it's blue. So I was like, well, you know, we better match it to the decal, because, you know, otherwise we're going to balls it up. Me and Dad went out, we found some blue paint, and the only colour that we could find as a suitable match was this really dark spray paint. Now, neither me nor my father are very good at using spray paint, but he did have a good go, bless him. The other issue was the paint was in gloss and you couldn't get it in matte. So it was like, what do we do? So I said, well, look, we'll go for it, and maybe we can find like a matte varnish that we can put over the top. So that's what we did. So Dad sprayed it down. He actually said to me when we were looking, he was like, look, why don't you just paint it the blue of the TARDIS that we've got in the garden, the 10th, This Planet Earth one. And I was like, no, it needs to match the decal. It needs to match the decal. And he was like, cool, you're a pain in the ass. And I was. So he took it, he sprayed it, and yeah, that was that. We finished it off, and yeah, I wasn't particularly pleased with it. Then let's talk about stuff like the lamp. The lamp, as you can see, it's quite different from the other lamps in the TV series. This one has like two housings, so you've got the main wooden bit around it, but then you've got this metal casing that goes around that. This, you can actually buy a Richard Hudolin, that's the name of the designer who made this TARDIS, for those of you who don't know. Hudolin, I don't know. You can get a 3D printed lens, and you can also get the frame. But in order to do that, you're paying something like 30 to 40 quid. And I was like, I am not paying that much money for a poxy lamp on top of a TARDIS. So I thought, bugger it, I'll make my own. So the lamp, this is actually a slightly different one, was originally a 1/6 scale Fresnel lens lamp that was from a Peter Capaldi TARDIS, again 3D printed on Shapeaways. Then I just built this sort of casing around it with milliput, and then the bits on the side, these wire bits here, that was just the same wire that I used for the door handle. So that was painted silver, and yeah, that was it. Then we did the windows. This is another thing that you're going to need. You're going to have to buy some sort of plastic or something to do the windows. There's a very good trick, which is if you go to B&Q, you can buy one of the lids off of one of those big boxes, and it's like £2.50, and there's enough plastic there to do probably 2 of these TARDISes. So it's much better than getting something custom made, which is much more expensive. And then for the frosting and the hammered glass, that was all just a matter of using a plastic film that you again can buy from B&Q. Those come in large rolls, and you just find them in the wallpaper section. They're just adhesive, and you just stick them on. And the windows have changed slightly since the original version. So in the original version, I backed the windows entirely with frosted glass and then added the hammered glass sections on top. But I felt that you couldn't really notice the hammered glass particularly well. The details of it were like totally lost. So with how it looks now, what I've done since is I have chopped out those rectangles from the frosting so that it's just much clearer seeing the hammered effect. It looks so much better. As you can see, all of the windows are different, you know, the patterns of where the pebbled glass is or the hammered glass. And that's something that I really like about the TV movie TARDIS is normally all of the classic TARDISes, for the most part, it's, you know, pebbled glass in the corners, but this one is all over the place. They're all distinctive. And then my dad sadly passed away. I built the season 17 TARDIS on my own, and it was after doing the beveled edges on that season 17 one, I thought to myself, oh, wasn't it a shame that we didn't do that to the TV movie box? And I looked at it and I thought, well, I'm not particularly happy with this TARDIS. I don't like the colour, I don't like the texture, I don't like the fact that it's missing beveled edges, and I don't like the fact that I put so much polyfiller on it that I've lost all the detailing in the pillars. So I ummed and ahed about it for a while, and I said to my brother, I was like, look, I'm not happy with this thing that me and Dad built, but I feel a bit funny about just undoing everything when it was something that we did together. I said, you reckon he'd mind if I did it? And he was like, no, of course he wouldn't. He'd want you to be happy with it and for it to look accurate. I was like, okay. And I thought, well, I'll mention it to my mum. And she was like, oh God, don't be stupid, just do it. He'd think exactly the same thing, that, you know, if you weren't happy with it, and he knew how much I was obsessed with getting these things right, she was like, no, just do it, don't be stupid. So that's what I did. So I sanded down all of the sides, I took off a lot of the polyfiller, and I basically took a metal nail file and a nail, and I dug into all of here and scraped out all of that polyfiller. Oh, it was an absolute nightmare. But I think now it looks so much better. It was worth it in the end. Then it came to the colour. The colour. So, like I said to you at the beginning, my dad said, why don't we just paint it the same colour as the TARDIS outside? And that's exactly what I did. And the reason why is because the colour of those publicity images is very deceptive. If you look at pictures of this TARDIS behind the scenes from the Bidding Adieu video with Sylvester McCoy, and even in just some of the daytime scenes in the film, you can see that the blue is not that dark. It is much closer to this, more of a mid-tone blue. It's not like really bright, but it's not really dark. And this is a nice colour because in certain lighting it does look much darker. So that's what I did. I was like, right, well, sorry Dad, you're probably going to hate me for doing this, but yes, I'm going to repaint it exactly the colour you told me to do. So yeah, listen to your parents, kids, because they know what they're talking about. Added a beveled edge to the base as well, because the base needed a beveled edge, so I just took some sandpaper and all the way around and repainted it. And then that was that. That was the finished TARDIS prop. Obviously other things had to be repainted as well, so all of the handles and stuff got repainted. So what I did here, the handle, it's silver, but then I painted a little bit of blue on top, and I tried to capture the effect of the film where you can see that it's a metal handle that's been painted blue, but all the paint's scratched off. Same for the yell lock, in that you can see it's a gold metal yell lock, but the paint on top is all scratched off, so that's what I tried to do here. Painted it gold, put a bit of blue on it, and even scratched a bit off, I think. And sort of same here on the door panel as well. And for the hinges on the side, I think this is quite mad, my madness starting to creep in a bit here. I actually painted on some little bits of silver, because you can see on the panel in the episode, the paint is scraped off of the hinges, where obviously someone's opened the panels or whatever, and it just rubbed the paint off. So I tried to capture that. Madness, I know, but I like it because it's not just a total blue blob. And like I did with the Season 17 TARDIS and all these TARDIS kits, I never glue the roof on. As you can see, this has got a light inside it. It's nothing special, nothing wired in or anything clever. It's literally just one of those battery-operated LED lights just at the bottom, and I just switch it on when I fancy it. There's a hole in the bottom that's been drilled in case I ever get a LED to make the lamp flash, which I probably will at some point, but I just haven't yet. The only other thing I haven't mentioned is the lamp. I said earlier on that the lamp changed from when I built it with my dad to how it is now. That wasn't intentional, but the reason why I did that is because I bought a TYJ lamp off of Shapeways, 3D printed again, for a Season 18 box that I built, and it was totally wrong. It was far too big, and it was far too bulbous, and it was just no, not correct at all. But it was like 17 quid, something ridiculous, maybe 20 quid. And I thought to myself, I don't want to have spent this money and it not get used anywhere. It's just madness. So then I remembered the film, and I was like, well, hang on a minute. The lamp that I used on this box originally wasn't quite exactly the same. And what I've used on this box at the moment is much closer to the TYJ lamp. So I just swapped them round. So that's it, basically. That is the finished kit. I am much happier with how it looks now. I think it looks brilliant alongside Mr. McGann. You'll have to let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think it looks good, or do you think it looks like a pile of rubbish? I'm just very happy with how it turned out. And hopefully Dad's looking down and thinking, you were an asswipe for making me do all that work, but I'm glad you're happy with it. So once again, a huge thank you to Jamie, because these kits are superb. I absolutely adore them. They're a lot of fun to make. It allows me to unleash my inner sad geekiness and research the props and try and capture all of those little elements. And this is probably one of the best TARDIS props from the series ever, and it's a shame that it was only used in that one film. It was a shame it didn't get to be used properly on screen. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and this is really it for the Jamie Bate kits, because I've basically done a rundown now on all of the different TARDISes that he does, like the major ones, but there is still two in this 1/6 scale that I haven't done videos on. One is a Pertwee one is a Season 18, Season 19 one, and I don't know, do you guys want to see a video on that as well? I don't really know what else I can say when it comes to talking about them other than I did this and I did that. Does that still interest you? let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you want me to do it. I also have one video that I will be doing, which is a review of another one of Jamie's kits, but it's for a 1/13 scale TARDIS, so it's in scale with the character options figures, and it's absolutely super, and I love it, and it's a John Pertwee one as well, and yeah, that'll be a video that's coming soon too. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Let me know if you want to see those other 2 TARDIS kits. It's a Season 9 John Pertwee TARDIS and a Season 18-19 Yardley Jones TARDIS. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye!